for a while, like there was like this food truck craze, and it really kicked things off. I would see all these food trucks at festivals, etc. And for a while, like the food trucks seemed to have the best food, just being honest with you. And some of these companies, some of these food trucks, they decided because they were doing so well as a food truck that they were going to become a brick and mortar. From what I've seen, it hasn't really worked out for many of them. It's a different feel, costs more money to have a brick and mortar, and people are finding that out the hard way, unfortunately. One of the most popular food trucks, which was called Slutty Vegan, followed that same path. For those who don't know, Slutty Vegan was created by a woman who's vegan, but she made like all the type of fast food that you would love to have, whether it's burgers, chicken sandwich, fries, all those types of things, but for vegans. And from what I was told for years, that like Slutty Vegan was everything. People told me the food's amazing. They said, if you're ever in the ATL, you definitely have to check it out. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but I heard it was amazing. In fact, apparently the food was so good that she decided to expand the business. And this is where the question comes in. Is it good to sometimes remain small? So Slutty Vegan decided also to become a brick and mortar. And it seems like this is when the trouble starts. You can see it here. She was featured in Fortune magazine, how I started a $100 million fast casual restaurant from the ground up. Check it out.
Because of my confidence, I got me a lease paying $1,200 in a 650 square foot space. And at my grand opening, I had about 1,200 people. I couldn't believe that so many people would stand out in line to support me. And that's when I knew I had something really big. I was on the front page of the New York Times in the food section. Like, we built a multi-million-dollar business, and that was game-changing for me. Hey, what's up? It's Pinky Cole. I'm 35 years old, and I'm the founder and CEO of the world-famous $100 million brand, Slutty Vegan, ATL, born and bred in Atlanta, Georgia. Having a television background, I said, you know what? I know what people watch when they watch TV. They want stuff that's in your face, racy, raunchy, that's going to make them pay attention. But when you think about veganism, veganism has always been known to be pure, flavorless, clean, very green. And I said the two most pleasurable experiences in life is sex and food. If I can make people think about sex and think about food at the same time, I know that I can peel the layer back and educate you about veganism in a way that you've never seen it before.
So notice that looks like an actual burger, right? Like it looks like it's ground beef, but it's not.
I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. I grew up in a single parent household. My father did 22 years in prison while my mother worked multiple jobs to make sure that she took care of the family. I can remember my mom working so many jobs and learning how to cook with my grandmother because my mother was always gone working or pursuing her own entrepreneurial endeavors as a...
So did you guys notice that? It looks like real meat, right? Looks like real patties, but it's not. And I think vegan food has come a long way. I am not vegan, but I think it has come a long way, and people have found ways to make it more creative and, you know, not taste like cardboard. We're just going to fast forward a little bit here because I really want to focus on the business. Here you can see it here. So this was the food truck craze.
Took over somebody's lease. And I was paying $2,400 a month, which is crazy now because you can barely, $2,400 a month, that's the light bill now. So I went to Google and YouTube and I started learning everything I could learn about the restaurant industry. I barely knew what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing, but I barely knew what I was doing. I had the restaurant for about 2 years, and then I had a grease fire and literally lost everything in the grease fire. My car got repoed. I got kicked out of my apartment. I went flat broke. I got an opportunity to work in TV again. I was working as a casting director and I was done with restaurants. I was working on a TV show. They had a hiatus and I started delivering for DoorDash. And while I was delivering for DoorDash, I'm like, okay, cool. Ghost kitchens. I've never heard of ghost kitchens, but I see it happening in LA. I realized I was just preparing for what I was about to create just a couple months later. And when they asked me to go to Atlanta temporarily to work on the show, it hit me like a light bulb. And I came up with this crazy ass concept called Slutty Vegan. I didn't have anything written down. I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't have a business plan. It was just an idea that sounded good. I started Slutty Vegan.
That's the part I want people to hold on to. She didn't have a business plan, but she just thought it would sound good. Now, why is all this important, right? Let me show you what just happened. Let me bring this up here because now it's not good news. Slutty Vegan owner now just filed for bankruptcy. And notice it says reality TV star here as well. And that's because something else also just happened. And you got to kind of wonder if that was part of the storyline as to why they chose her. The news comes days after Cole officially joined the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So she's joined that cast. And it makes me wonder if that's why they chose her, right? Because this was happening. But it says that Pinky Cole, the latest addition to the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy over her original claim to fame, Slutty Vegan. The restaurateur said she owed around $1.4 million in debt from the vegan eatery's operations. WSB-TV confirmed the court filings over the matter, which state that Cole owes $1.2 million to U.S. Small Business Administration. And this is where I have to come in and ask the questions, guys, because is it always good to expand? Right. And I've seen this happen with a couple of food trucks, even right here in the Boston area, in Massachusetts. There's a food truck that's really good as a food truck and they make so much money and they say, hey, how about we open a brick and mortar? And then they decide to put that business in the brick and mortar. And for whatever reason, sometimes it's location, I don't know, other expenses that maybe they did not foresee. But for whatever reason, it doesn't always transfer over to the brick and mortar. So those long lines that they have at the food truck don't necessarily transfer over to the brick and mortar that they move into. And then there's other expenses that come with being in a brick and mortar that you may not have when you are just running a food truck. The other thing that I understand about Slutty Vegan is that they did expand to other locations, and it sounded like they expanded rather quickly. There are also rumors that she wasn't apparently paying staff. I don't know if that's 100% true, but these are some of the rumors that are out there. And I'm just asking the question, is it always good to expand? Because I'm starting to wonder, maybe it's not. Maybe it's okay just to remain small. So let's see here. Hold on. I think it froze there. Okay. So it goes on to say here, when Slutty Vegan launched in 2018, the small but mighty food truck became a massive hit in Atlanta. It was known for its unique and provocative approach to plant-based fast food. First-time and long-time vegan eaters fell in love with the restaurant's burgers and fries. It was an overnight success. It led to more store openings across the U.S., once growing to 18 locations. Cole struggled to keep up with the expanding empire. So they grew to 18 locations. She struggled to keep up with the expanding empire, failing to pay rent on some of the storefronts. And according to TMZ, Cole listed her personal properties to total around $3.7 million, with her monthly expenses equaling to over $41,000 a month. Now, this news comes days just after Cole confirmed her latest venture with the Real Housewives of Atlanta alongside fellow newcomer R&B songstress K. Michelle. So she is now a part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Eric, can you close this tab? I think it's stuck. That tab. So she's now a part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And that makes me wonder, maybe she was chosen because this is the storyline she's going to go in with, which is that she felt, she has bankruptcy and maybe she's going to lead with that. Also, there's a check in it to be a part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But filing for bankruptcy is no joke. And it's not something that's easy to get out of once you've fallen into that path. Something else I thought was rather interesting is said that Slutty Vegan owner Pinky Cole, she also launched a vegan hoagie shop in Atlanta. So let's
Entrepreneur Pinky Cole is back in the spotlight, launching something brand new, Vogies. It's a plant-based sub shop. It's located on the West End, and Vogies is a concept that Cole says she's been dreaming about for about 6 years. It comes just months after a major comeback following a financial shakeup that temporarily cost her control of her Slutty Vegan empire. Now Cole says she is rebuilding and stronger than ever.
I was tired of going to sub shops and just getting veggies on bread. I wanted to be able to create something that I could appreciate. Slutty Vegan 2.0 is going to look like a lot of things. It's going to look like Slutty Vegan. It's going to look like vegan hoagie shops and so much more.
No doubt it's going to be popular. Vogies is open right now on Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard at the first Slutty Vegan location.
So I don't know what to say other than it just seems like business decisions were not made, right? One of the things that stood out to me is that she said she didn't have a plan. And I think you do need to have one. And the thing that I would say to people that own a food truck is, hey, if you have a food truck and it's doing really well, great. But just because it's doing well, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to, transition into a brick and mortar or that you need to expand to all these different locations. One of the things I noticed, and I'm a foodie, I don't know if you guys are, but one of the things I noticed, it seems like to me, when restaurants start to expand to more locations, it almost seems like the quality of the food starts to go down. And maybe that's just my experience, but not everything needs to have some type of expansion. So is there a lesson I think there is to be learned from this? Yeah. Number one, you got to have a business plan. And number two, you don't always have to expand. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.